Great. So we basically going to look at visa preparation to be able to help ourselves to know how we can provide responses to visa officers, the question that are being asked during our F1 interviews. Now, before I start with, I just want to highlight the fact that practice makes us perfect. And so one thing I need to emphasize is that if you are beginning this journey of, going for a visa interview, I advise you to join, mock sessions, practice mock interview questions with basically real time feedback. What do I mean here? I'm basically trying to say that the responses that you are going to give to the visa officer should be one that is very genuine, like it's very real to you, to your own experiences, and then the purpose why you want to go and study in the United States. And so don't just sit down and feel, oh, I don't need to join any mock session. I don't need to find some responses to that. You can prepare yourself towards that journey. And so the next thing I want to also highlight in visa interview is that you keep your answers between 45 seconds to 1 minute. Visa officers are always, busy during the day. They are interviewing hundreds of people. And so they basically, run through most of the things because you've submitted your DS-160, they have your information, and so they just want to do a little, kind of interview to know if you are indeed a good candidate for the visa that you are seeking. And so whilst you are preparing yourself towards that, try to practice on your own, maybe some questions you've seen on the internet, on maybe the embassy's website. Some of them do hold sessions that they talk about visa preparations and all that. You may want to look at around some of these questions. There are a lot of videos on internet as well. I recommend Fred Effect for you to look at some of the questions that are being asked during visa interview. Fela GH is also one of the platforms that you can look at the things that Fela is also doing. There are a lot of, videos on the internet. Case for the Una is also a very good product for you to learn how to prepare yourself towards your visa interview. And so kind of practice these questions within a speed of 45 seconds to 1 minute. And then the next thing I'm also going to talk about is that try to bring all supporting documents that you are going to use to defend your case at the embassy. For the past, month, we had people went to the embassy without their funding letters, right? So if you have any funding letter, if you have any scholarship letter, go with it. If you have any transcript, have it, your academic transcript, have all of those ones. Some of you may have probably changed your name, which is different from the one on your certificate to the one on your DS-160 or your visa application form. You may want to also go with some of these documents to be able to, respond to the questions that may come around some of those tabs. Go with your admission letters, anything that you have to carry along to be able to, defend yourself as a candidate who is qualified for the F1 visa. Please and please go ahead. And the next thing I want to also talk about is avoiding of, technical jargons. There are a lot of people who normally join mock sessions and basically are using jargons, they are changing their accent and other things, a whole lot of stuff. Speak genuinely from your own experience and from your own accent and experiences. Don't just take a position where you want to try to mimic someone's language whilst you are not communicating effectively. So communicate well. Talk in a very good manner that the VO or the visa officer will know what you are trying to put forward or the responses you are giving to their answers. Now, having discussed that, the most important thing that over the years, my team and Mr. Ernest, Adam and the rest we've used to be able to help applicants for F1 visa interviews is using the STAR method approach. And so the questions that we are going to go through and then you've seen on the internet, try to use the STAR method approach to know how you can respond to some of the questions that are being asked during the visa interview. So you want to look at maybe situation. If you are interested in going to pursue maybe, social work in the United States and you are being asked, why did you choose this program? You want to start responding to the question starting from maybe an encounter, an experience that you had. Maybe it's a research that you've seen, something that is not done in the field of social work in Ghana that has actually pushed you to go. And so that can be a situation that you are you are using the S in the STAR method to be able to, speak to the visa officer why you solely, you demand, you deserve this visa that you are applying for. And then also kind of look at the actions and then the tax. So what is the tax going to be here? So the tax can basically be on the courses, the program you are going to make, how the program is going to expose you. Maybe there are some internship, there are some practical aspect, there are some research that you are going to do to be able to, get some knowledge, which is, basically centering towards the action. So you are currently going to, engage in some of these knowledge and skills, and then you look forward to coming back to your home country to be able to, use this knowledge and skills you've gained through that program in the United States to be able to, transform that field in your home country, that is Ghana. And then the results. So some of the results can, it can basically be around questions about your career plan. So what's your career plan? What's your graduation plan after completing of the program? This is something you may want to use the result, which is in the STAR method, the last hour, to be able to answer the question. And so after you gain this degree, ask yourself, what would this degree offer you? Yourself, your home country. So you try to respond to the question around that as well. So whilst you are also, trying to respond to some of these questions, don't forget to also use your own experiences. And it will basically mean that you have to do a very in-depth reading around the program you are going to read. So try to read around the program, understand what the program is all about, the objectives, the goals, and other things. And you can also check some of the work that are being done by alumni, what the program will do for you after graduation. These are some of the things you need to, include when you are preparing for your visa interview using the STAR method. And I also want us to go through this short activity that you need to really prepare yourself. It's basically about everything that I just spoke about. So you want to look at some of the key guidelines for your storytelling. I always say that the visa interview that you're going to have is supposed to be an interaction, like a conversation. It's not about question and answer method. So kind of the first thing I advise people is being authentic. Authenticity is very, very important when you are trying to make yourself real to the visa officer, and that why you basically demand or deserve this visa. So be authentic in the story that you are giving, be truthful in the story that you are giving. Try to, before you have, already prepared for that. So try to be able to also be authentic in the responses that you are giving. And don't just basically stand in a position that the questions that you've been prepared for are the only questions that you may be asked. It can change. You may sometimes meet a visa officer who is probably coming from your school, and then, oh, I graduated from University of Alabama. Tell me about University of Alabama, right? So prepare yourself around any other questions that you may not have prepared for before your visa interview. The most things that these visa officers look forward in the F1 visa interview and application is that you need to have a clear academic purpose. Clear academic purpose. You chose a certain program or field because of a reason. And most often when we are applying for the visa, we forget our statement of purpose, personal statement, intent letter that we wrote before the program gave us admission. So try to go revisit that. Why do you need this degree? Why are you applying to this course or this program? And why do you need it now? So try to sit down and then know a bit about the program. It's not even a bit, know very deep knowledge about the program you are going to read and how that course or program will offer you the knowledge base you need for you to, continue with your either academic or your career pursuit. Then I will also say your career, be able to stipulate your career plan effectively to the visa officer. So most often people go there and then the program they are going to read is not actually in line with their career goals and all that. The US, government or US as a country want to invest in people who actually have a clear career goal or plan. And so be able to ask yourself how this degree will fit into your career back home in Ghana or in Africa, wherever you find yourself. And so ask yourself, this master's in social work that I'm going to read, how will it benefit myself, my career, and then my home country. And additionally, most of the questions that they are being asked during the F1 interview are related to home ties. So home ties can basically be your family relations. It can be your community. Maybe you are in a community project, an NGO project, anything that you do hold. Sometimes people use their businesses they have here. Some people use their job offers because they are going to pursue masters or maybe top up degrees, and then they come back to take up senior roles and all that. You may also want to look around that, but always don't forget to be authentic in all these stories that you are providing. And then some people have that kind of national development goals that people are able to establish to their home ties. So maybe you are interested in a program that you can come out with a very good project to support the field. Let's say education field. You are interested in assistive technology in special education in Ghana, and you've realized that assistive technologies are not really implemented well in the special education field in Ghana. And so you want to come up with a project after your degree to be able to set up that project to help schools and, train future special educators for them to, how to use assistive technologies in their teaching and instruction. That is a very good thing, career plan or home ties that you can actually put in there. So you try to be genuine with your story. Find your own story. Don't, plagiarize. Don't use someone's story. Be genuine. Sit down and then develop your own story. Another important thing that we all need to know is around financial clarity. If you have, a scholarship, be able to know what the scholarship entails. If you have a graduate assistantship, what does the graduate assistantship offer entails? What's the whole total, about the funding? So be confident about the funding story that you are going to give, or the response you are going to give to the visa officer when you are being asked that question. And also, if you have someone who is sponsoring you, be able to also establish why the person is sponsoring you. And basically, the last thing I would say is knowing what the reason behind the sponsorship and all that. The next thing I'll talk about before the last thing, and then we start the mock session, is that university research. So you need to really show that you know much of the university that you have actually taken. So I said that so they know what makes their school special. At this point, you should be able to know the school you have chosen for your visa interview. You should know the state that your school is located in. Some of the fun stuff around the state you are going, or even in a field, if you are going for, let's say, chemical engineering, is there anything peculiar to the school in the field of special education that, chemical engineering that really interests you? Is there any kind of industries there that interest you for you to, choose that university? Think around some of these questions and then be able to prepare the new responses to them. And then lastly, I would say that be confident. Yeah, be confident. That doesn't mean that you are too confident and then you are over talking. If you are being asked the question, make sure in your first and second responses, you are able to articulate the response that the viewer need. So don't just over talk. Answer only what is asked and do that confidently, because they're also looking for people who can really speak, because you are going to be in a classroom where you are going to engage in a lot of things. You'll be in the US. There are a whole lot of issues that may come, and you need to really be confident in your communication and how you approach matters. So these are the things that I want to share with you to be able to, support you whilst you are preparing towards your visa interview. Yes. Thank you. And we move straight into the mock session.